In 1970, a McDonald's hamburger cost 25 cents, a gallon of gas cost 36 cents, a movie ticket cost $1.50, a brand new car cost around $3,000. Today, that same McDonald's burger costs $6, gas costs over $3 a gallon, a movie ticket costs $15, and that same car costs over $40,000. Nothing changed about the burger. Nothing changed about the gas. Nothing changed about the car, but your dollar buys less and less every single year. This is called inflation, and it is the invisible force that is quietly stealing your wealth every single day. Today, I am going to show you exactly what inflation is, why it happens, why the government actually wants it, and most importantly, what you can do to protect yourself. Welcome back to USA Money Explained. I'm UNUS. Let's start with the most important question. What actually is inflation? Here is the simplest way to understand it. Imagine there are only 10 apples in the world, and there are $10 in the world. Each apple costs $1. Simple. Now imagine the government prints 10 more dollars. Suddenly there are $20. But still only 10 apples. Now each apple costs $2. The apples did not change. The number of apples did not change. But there is more money chasing the same amount of stuff, so prices go up. That is inflation. More money, same stuff, higher prices. Now you might be thinking, why would the government print more money? That seems crazy. Here's why they do it. When the economy slows down, people lose jobs, businesses close, people stop spending, and things get worse. So the government and the central bank, called the Federal Reserve, they print more money and inject it into the economy. People have more cash. They start spending again. Businesses survive. Jobs come back. The economy recovers. This is why the government actually wants a small amount of inflation every year. The Federal Reserve targets 2% inflation annually. 2% sounds tiny, but here's what 2% actually does to your money over time. In 10 years, your dollar is worth only 82 cents. In 20 years, it is worth 67 cents. In 30 years, it is worth 55 cents. You did not spend it. You did not lose it. You just held it. And inflation slowly ate it alive. This is why keeping all your money in cash is one of the worst financial decisions you can make. Now, let me explain why inflation has felt so painful recently. During the 2020 pandemic, the government sent out trillions of dollars in stimulus checks and loans. At the same time, factories shut down, supply chains broke, ships were stuck waiting in harbors, truck drivers were not working. So what happened? Massive amounts of new money chasing far less stuff. The result? Inflation hit 9.1% in June 2022, the highest in 40 years. Groceries went up, gas went up, rent went up, everything went up. And ordinary people felt it every single time they opened their wallet. Now, let me show you something that will genuinely surprise you. Inflation does not hit everyone equally. It hits poor and middle-class people the hardest. Here's why. When inflation rises, the price of everything goes up. Groceries, rent, gas, utilities. These are things every single person needs to survive. For someone making $30,000 a year, these essentials take up almost all of their income. So when prices go up 10%, their entire life becomes more expensive. But for someone who owns a house, the value of their house goes up with inflation. For someone who owns stocks, the value of their stocks tends to rise with inflation. For someone who owns a business, they simply raise their prices and maintain their profit. The rich own assets. Assets grow with inflation. The poor and middle class hold cash. Cash loses value with inflation. This is one of the biggest reasons the wealth gap keeps getting wider. Inflation is a hidden tax on people who do not own things, and a hidden bonus for people who do. Now, let me explain the different types of inflation, because not all inflation is the same. Type 1, demand pull inflation. This happens when too many people are chasing too few goods. Everyone has money. Everyone wants to buy, but there is not enough supply, so prices rise. This is what happened during the pandemic stimulus. Type 2, cost push inflation. This happens when the cost of making things goes up. Oil prices rise, so transportation costs more. Wages rise, so products cost more to make. These higher costs get passed on to you at the checkout. Type 3, built-in inflation. Workers see prices rising, so they demand higher wages. Companies pay higher wages, then raise their prices to cover the cost. Workers see prices rising again and demand even higher wages. This cycle is called the wage price spiral, and once it starts, it is very hard to stop. Now, here's the most important part of this video. What can you actually do about inflation? Because complaining about prices does nothing. Understanding inflation without acting on it does nothing. Here is how you protect yourself. Strategy 1. Stop holding excess cash. Keep 3 to 6 months of expenses in your emergency fund. That's it. Everything above that amount should be invested. Cash sitting in a regular savings account is losing purchasing power every single year. Strategy 2. Invest in assets that beat inflation. Historically, the stock market has returned 10% per year. Inflation averages around 3% per year. That means investing in index funds gives you roughly 7% real return per year after inflation. Stocks beat inflation over time. Real estate beats inflation over time. Cash does not. Strategy 3. Avoid long-term fixed-rate debt during high inflation. Wait, this sounds backwards, but here's why this matters. If you borrowed $100,000 at fixed rate and inflation runs high, you are paying back that loan with dollars that are worth less than when you borrowed them. Inflation actually helps people who have fixed-rate mortgages. Your payment stays the same, but your house becomes worth more, and the real value of your debt shrinks over time. Strategy 4. Increase your income. This is the most powerful inflation protection of all. If inflation rises 3% and your salary rises 5%, you're actually ahead. The people who get crushed by inflation are the ones whose income stays flat. Negotiate raises, start side hustles, build skills that make you more valuable. Your earning power is your biggest hedge against inflation. Now, one final thought. Inflation is not going away. It has existed for hundreds of years, and it will continue. The question is not whether inflation will affect you. The question is whether you are positioned to protect yourself or whether you will let it slowly drain your wealth year after year. The people who understand inflation invest their money, build income, own assets, and use the system to their advantage. The people who don't understand it hold cash, watch prices rise, and wonder why they can never get ahead. So let's do a quick recap. USA Money Explained style. Inflation is more money chasing the same amount of goods. Prices go up. The Federal Reserve targets 2% inflation per year. Over 30 years, inflation cuts your dollar's value almost in half. Inflation hits poor and middle-class people the hardest. They hold cash, not assets. The rich own assets, stocks, real estate, businesses that rise with inflation. 3 types: demand pull, cost push, and built-in wage price spiral. 4 ways to protect yourself. Stop holding excess cash. Invest in assets that beat inflation. Fixed-rate debt actually helps you during high inflation. Increase your income, the most powerful protection of all. That's it. That's why everything is so expensive. And now you know exactly what to do about it. If this video helped you, hit that subscribe button right now and watch the next video in this series, How Mortgage Rates Are Actually Determined. Because once you understand inflation, understanding mortgage rates becomes crystal clear. I'm UNUS. See you in the next one.